Steve, you've got to be pleased with that because it wasn't just a good win and a good performance against the top of the table. It was really entertaining game as well.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I mean, we definitely give the crowd something for their money, and they got engaged, which was fantastic and made a massive difference. Any win's a good win, as far as I'm concerned, but I think it was important we won at home because that had become a little bit of a hoodoo that we wanted to get off our back, and I felt there was a lot of resilience and determination, which hasn't always been.
Yeah, it was that fight was there that hasn't been there.
Yeah, I think I challenged the boys at half time because we're 1-0 down at the time. I'm sure you'll go into that in a second. But I just said to them, I said, look boys, we have been here multiple times this season where we've gone 1-0 down, and I just feel like we've accepted it a little bit too much. We're good when we get in front, but the real question, if we're going to achieve anything notable this season, is can we dig ourselves out? Can we show determination? Can we change the momentum of the game? And I think the second half, that's exactly what they did.
I think the whole game we did, to be honest, because I thought this started the better for the first 10 minutes or so. But after that, we came into it and we were probably having the better of it. And then a bit typically we're doing lately, where we're doing well and the opposition then go and score.
Yeah, I felt, rather than them starting well, I think we were a little bit sloppy. I think right from the kickoff, we pretty much gifted them the ball back, and there was just a few unforced errors in possession, and I think we kind of gave them their momentum rather than them necessarily taking it. And the goal, Jarrah's took that really well, but even that, it's come from a misplaced pass in midfield,
and he was free. There was nobody on him,
and we've ball watched. He's run off the shoulders, and highly preventable. Other than the fact that once he's actually put his foot through it, it's a very good strike.
Yeah.
And the Covenant fell silent, and you're looking around at the boys, and you're kind of thinking, are we going to accept this, or are we going to respond? And I felt we did. Yeah,
definitely did, because I mean, the frustrating thing, if you were good, was the fact of we had 5 or 6 really good chances and didn't score. They had 1 and scored. They didn't have anything really than that. And if you're being critical, you'd say that, yes, we had a great response after their goal, but we should be finishing those chances.
Yeah, I mean, was there any sitters? There wasn't any sitters, but, there was, Regis pulled one across the goal, which I think is a shot. But again, if someone had gambled, there was a couple of guys back post that maybe could have got the end of it. Rory has had a header. It's not an easy header. He's been challenged. Lou's also had a header. But what I would say, having watched it back now, is we played some good football in that first half.
Yeah.
We had control of the ball, and we were moving it a lot more dangerously, in my opinion, than Bearsted were. That's not to say they didn't have any threats. That's not to say they didn't look like a good side, because they did. They looked neat and tidy. But I definitely think the second half of the first half, we if you don't put the ball in the net, you get what you deserve. But based on momentum, based on possession, based on intent, I felt we should have come in level at least.
Yeah, definitely. But there again, like you just mentioned before about half time, it worked again because it couldn't have started better. D comes out, scores after 4 minutes.
Yeah, well, as I say, the gauntlet was just put down to the boys that we didn't deserve to be behind, but you get what you deserve if you don't put the ball in the net. And on were they as a side going to refuse to accept, because Bearsted at the top of the league, if we lose 1-0, oh well, no, what do you expect? But actually, anyone who was there, anyone who witnessed it, it wasn't lucky. It wasn't that that Bearsted haven't turned up. We were just good, and Demando to equalise was fantastic and deserved. But we've then had another setback. We've let another goal in. Like fair play again to Bearsted. They didn't lie down either. That's why they're right up there.
But again, we get back in and then we let them into it again. But we were fighting. That's the thing. Again, we were definitely fighting the whole game. It was really entertaining. Back and forth.
It's two sides trading blows, and to say we let them back in. I mean, that's the side that were top of the league when that game kicked off. They're there for a reason. They're there because they're used to winning. They beat Whitstable in the week in the cup. We haven't got any divine right, but what I have a belief in is if we just show that grit, determination, and then have that little bit of luck, I think we can compete with anyone. And
yeah, well, I think that's true because, like I say, it's like we had a lot of fight, but actually a lot of skill and decent football because it's like, less than 5 minutes after we go 2-1 down, Crystal Hall pops up and scores a great goal. But again, that wasn't just an easy goal. He had the skill he showed to get round the guy with the ball and then himself round. It was a great goal to get us level.
A fantastic goal.
And it typified, I think it typified the whole performance.
Yeah, real driving run. Lucas, he's played it into Lou's feet. Lovely little round the corner layoff from Lou, and Chris has then finished it really, really well. And that's the kind of grit and determination that I was calling for. And I thought we really went for it. It was good, wasn't it? It was just the sort of levels, and then the crowd get engaged, and it's definitely the loudest I've heard the Den this season.
It was definitely.
We weren't the biggest crowd either, but
it was like an away game where we've been let out of the way.
And I know that comes from us. It's a two-way engagement, the fan interaction. But yeah, you guys more than played your part, and I would have been a bit hard done by to have had a draw.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, I felt we were pushing it up the hill. I'm not sure Bentley, up until stoppage time, had a fantastic amount to do, and it was just a question of well, could we take them through?
And we did, because I think again, the 80th minute, you bring on Reece, you bring on Jack, and then Jack's throw-in starts the whole set process of how we then go and score again. Yeah. And Reg pops up yet again, scores the winner.
And this, when you consider the restraints that we're working with, the group, and actually you consider the injuries we've had, by the way, on top of unavailability with Tom not being around this week. Obviously we've got Blackie who's now done his hamstring. But when you look, we've got Matty and Toby on the bench, two young local lads who have been fantastic for us when called upon. But we've got Jack Gallagher, Reece Bartlett and Trevor McCready on the bench, on top of the quality attacking players that we've started with. I mean, it's pretty scary, really, and we should be scoring goals, and that's probably what we focused on in training the last couple of weeks. We have just been taking the handbrake off a little bit, because up until Rustall, I think Rustall, that goal was our first goal in 4 games. So we had not, for the players we've got, we're massively underachieving at that end of the pitch, and we've kind of just tried to get them in front of goal as much as we can in training.
Well, I think we've proved in the past we have, because earlier on in the season we had 2 4s, 2 3s. We've shown we can score goals.
Well, yeah, and now we've gone 3-2-3 in the last 3 games. So yeah, if we can get the firepower, goals quite clearly change games, and if we can get all the people capable of scoring in good positions, we should be scoring.
Yeah, because I think the other thing that was pleasing, we actually saw the game out quite comfortably. It didn't feel like they were going to come back at us. Maybe that's just rose-tinted glasses. But we were doing okay until George goes.
Well, there's a pivotal moment, isn't there? And that's the sending off. And you don't have any sending off at any point in the game.
After that, it was defending, but we defended.
So the goalkeeper sent off in the 90th minute. It did make the last 7 or 8 a little bit area. But Ryan, who was playing really well on the pitch.
One where he came off his line and punched it away.
Yeah.
When it was really, brilliant.
He had to catch one and take it into his midriff, which he's held on to. Because it's quite slippery, tricky conditions as well. And Ryan was having a good game on the pitch, which was the only reluctance I had in putting him. The thing is that I've got people queuing up to go in goal. Obviously, Ryan played in goal as a sort of.
I forgot that.
Right up until a few years ago. Trev always fancies himself in goal. Jack Gallagher fancies himself in goal. So I had plenty to choose from. But yeah, Ryan, he obviously
did his job well
with you guys at the end and fully deserved it.
Yeah, but I mean, all the guys were celebrating in the end, because you look over that, and it wasn't just like I said before. We battled, we played well. It was every single person. The last few games, everybody's been a 7 out of 10, a good solid performance. Yeah. Whereas that one, there was so many 8s and 9s out of 10 across pitch. Yeah. Like Chris Will, got man of the match, and he played brilliant. But you could have picked Joffrey or Rory out that midfield.
Agree.
You could have picked either of the two Ryans in defence. Yeah. Any of the goal scorers. There was just performance everywhere.
That's Demando's best game since Whitstable at home, to be honest, in my opinion. Reg and Lucas looked like a good partnership up front. And actually, you know, to be fair, Mo and Maka have contributed solidly as well. So it is a brilliant team performance, and that's what we need to be. Because I'm not sure we're a team of fantastic individuals, but what we are is we're quite a close group, and people are starting to look familiar. People are starting to move the ball around. That's why it's frustrating that first 10 minutes, because there was some really poor decisions on the ball. But once we ironed that out, I felt we caused a lot of problems. So I won't get too carried away because it's one win, but it was good because the home form hasn't been good enough. There's been a bit of a suggestion that's scaring people away. So, you know, we've got the Vars on Saturday, and we're coming into that having just beaten our biggest rivals in the last round and top of the league at home in the last game. So if that don't get the people,
is that 4 wins out of 5?
Yeah, 4 out of 5.
You know, She-What in the Vars, it's going to be great again because we love the Vars.
So let's hope everyone turns up.
Yeah, brilliant.
Cheers.
Cheers.